Welcome back to the 13th Destiny with Magnum. And of course, we have my co host, Danielle Long, standing by on the line, as well as a guest. Danielle, say hello.
Hi.
There's,
Hi, everybody.
there's Danielle out there from San Diego, California. And we'll do our weekly business shout outs as well as for our sponsorship as well. Don't forget our new sponsor, who has been the sponsor for the last few weeks, is the t-shirtgrove.com. That is the TEE-shirtgrove.com. And they are our sponsor now. I will have them in the show notes as I've been having as of late. Also, special shout out to the Holiday Inn University Plaza Hotel at 1021 Wilkerson Trace, Bowling Green, Kentucky, right here, where we've been doing business with them for over 20 years. I've done a lot of business with the previous modeling and film company, as well as the 13th Destiny. Continue to do business with them and continue to move forward. All right, also, for our friends down at Oak Grove Racing and Gaming, be sure to check them out as well. They've got a new hotel down there as well. That is at Oak Grove, Kentucky, right across the way from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, home of the 101st Airborne, and of course Clarksville, Tennessee, right all in that same area. And without further ado, let's bring on the awesome, incredible guest that I had on just recently. And we brought back this guy is, like I said, he's awesome, he's incredible. He joked on the last time that he was a living legend in his own mind, but you know what, he is kind of a legend, kind of like me. So let's talk about that. John Kercez. And I didn't even have to get you to tell me how to pronounce the name. What do you think about that, brother?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was good. I just want to say, too, about your sponsor, the hotel there. I stayed there while working with some projects with you, and it's a very nice place. So
Thank you.
there's an extra bump out for me. But yeah, I thought since we talked last time, I have been having some new things happening. We were talking about my one book, The Adventures of Dr. Jonks, that I had done, started as, I think that was like a 25-year project that I didn't get done, and then I chipped it away doing teen books, 3 teen books in series, and then updated those into the 4th chapter, made it into a full novel. And we are going ahead with making that into a film. I have somebody in Hollywood working with me. I'm not allowed to mention who it is.
Oh, I know. I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to mention that at this time, but he has worked on lots of movies, him and his company, and it would get us coverage in Walmarts and on the pay-per-views. But I tell you, it's slow go. I haven't done I got to come up with some seed money first to show that, my commitment before I get, there's other backers waiting to make sure that I'm interested to put their money in. You know how they do that sometimes.
Yes.
And that's slow going. I'm hit up. I haven't done any Kickstarters or anything yet, but I've kind of been hitting up friends and mulling it over. Some friends are mulling it over, but so if anybody's interested, contact me, let me know. We'll get you any kind of part. Your voice in it, your photo in it, your music in it, your bad guy in it. You can make a clip on your phone and send it to us if you want. We'll just tell you what you need to do. We're trying to raise the money I need. I need to get 20,000 up and running first before they put the rest of the money.
I was fixing to ask you that question. What was that you kind of needed on that? Because I always know there's always like a number associated with stuff like that.
Yeah, they're willing to put up the remainder as long as I show in good faith that I'm making a commitment. And I've had other buddies that did that with films projects I've been involved with. One of my friends you see him on TV as bit parts and stuff, and I was on a project with him, and he had somebody that was going to give him a couple $100,000 towards the movie that he needed, but he had to prove he was committed by raising a certain amount, and that just didn't happen. So
and that happens sometimes.
But it's not like I don't have a time that I have to beat. It's like when I get the money, they're willing to do it. So that's kind of nice.
Oh, that's good. You'll have a time frame on that. That's good.
But that's kind of exciting because that's the movie. They got the idea for the book originally from watching Buckaroo Banzai, which if anybody saw that, the guy's like a rock star, a surgeon, a space pirate, and he's like a jack of all trades, and I'm sure you can understand.
I
This,
can understand
James,
that quite well.
because,
I have seen the movie and I understand it quite well in real life too. Yeah, that's quite something that
So-
you and I understand. And
So I loved it and wanted to do something similar, and it took some different turns. It does do a multiverse, world-ending, rebooting kind of a theme to it. But actually, I started this before this big push in media for the multiverse and the rebooting, But I
Right.
think everybody's had that idea for a while, It's not like there's no real new ideas,
Sure. What's a new idea of late?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is there's only so many ideas you can have. Like that joke they say that if you put a bunch of chimpanzees in a room with typewriters, after a certain number of years, they'd write every novel that's already been written.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if I exactly believe that, but it's just the point they're making.
Yeah.
So that's I'm pretty to use an old term, stoked about that. And it did, like I say, take me about 20, 25 years to get the book finally written. I'd started it a bunch of times and lost what I had started. And, you do those kind of projects sometime. And
Gee, like I don't know
so
that one.
I-
Hold on just a
Just
second.
go
We
on
got it.
Amazon and look at the Dr. John Spokes, DR for Dr. JONKZ. And actually, it was my gaming name from the old days when I was a professional gamer. So that's the
Okay, see, that's what I was trying to figure out about this whole doctorate and doctor thing. Okay, so that's what the deal is. Okay, I got so confused on that last time I was looking. I was like, okay, I'm so confused. Now you just answered the question that I had in the back of my mind where that actually came from. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so that's where that kind of came from. And other things that are exciting, we talked a little bit before we started recording about the elections. Back in 220, I was a preliminary presidential candidate for the Transhumanist Party, which is a science party.
Yeah.
So I had also thrown my name out there. If you saw any of the stuff I threw out on Facebook or on my OSH Radio YouTube, and I had thrown out a song about me running and stuff, and to see if anybody was interested in backing me to run again.
Right.
And through that, I've kind of hooked up. I'm still a official officer of the Transhumanist Party. I'm their energy officer, since that was my day business.
Right.
But I've been communicating with the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, now you work for the Department of Energy too, right? Am I correct? Am I correct on that? Or
I had worked for the Department of Environmental Protection, but I worked for the Energy Office.
Okay, for the Energy Office.
So years ago, I had worked for EPA, also the federal government. But yeah, so I contacted the Alliance Party. And they're an upcoming new party, and they weren't interested in me being their presidential candidate.
Really?
But they're interested in me being they're interested in me being their chairman for the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And since I live in Pennsylvania and Jersey, I gave them the option. They said Pennsylvania is a swing state.
Gee.
And they need that. So they're backing, like in South Carolina, they're backing Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
And so they already have somebody to back in a lot of their places where they actually are on the ballot.
Right.
So
I don't. Yeah, we don't normally. Yeah, we
interested.
Right. Yeah, we don't normally talk about politics on there. But I forgot to tell Danielle the last time that you were on that you had been a presidential candidate at one time. Things
Yeah,
I felt.
At the time, it really upset my girlfriend. She was afraid I was going to lose my job because I worked in government and all this stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, I contacted people and like, you don't have to tell them until, since I was only a preliminary candidate, I wasn't their official top candidate.
Gotcha.
That was going to get pushed out to the whole country.
Gotcha.
I ended up being like their third or fourth choice because we had like 15 people being for it, so that wasn't too bad. And so it didn't matter, but she was, you're going to lose your job. You should tell them. And I'm
yeah.
I'm not going to tell them because that's going to make them watch me.
You know, that's funny. That's funny.
You know?
That's funny that you bring this up about, and I think that's what scares a lot of people in politics is because I know when I ran for city commissioner in Toccoa, Georgia, when I was like the youngest person to ever run, I got told this by several people in the local area. You're an outsider. You're not from here. They're gonna like roll all over you. You're gonna lose jobs. You're gonna lose friends. And the funny thing was, none of that actually happened.
Well, you know, I believe a lot of people don't do things because they're scared.
Right. Yeah.
And their fear holds them back, and they kind of try to pass their fear on to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be bold in this world and do things. And you know, it's like that old saying that it's better to you know, ask for forgiveness than to sometime you ask permission up
Right.
front.
Hey, you know that's the number one rule in a corporation.
Yeah, probably in the presidential elections too.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. So the books are going into a movie. You're doing all that and everything. I also saw. Hey, what's the deal with the Deadpool? Who's the Deadpool guy? I just saw it on your blog. That who's that? Is that one of the regular, or is that somebody that does Deadpool? I was confused.
That's a young man. He goes by name Tex Kelly. That's not his real name.
Okay.
But he does a Deadpool a lot of times. Him and his dad used to be Tex and John. Used to do a bunch of things. His dad passed away 3 years ago, though, and sorry about that for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he's a great young man, and he did that. He does Deadpool impressions, and he did that video for me, joking about, you know, I'm a B director, producer, actor, and, you know,
Yeah.
maybe if I keep at it, someday I'll be able to get a real Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds in a project.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to. Yeah, because he pulled it off so well. I was like, is that a joke or is that actually real? So okay, I got it now.
Well, it was real advice in a joking way.
Okay, that's why it came across that way. Yeah. So.
But I like that. If you follow my stuff too, I have a shout out by Darth Vader where he says, you know, my karate students have shown promise in the Force, and even the Emperor has been watching me.
Love it.
And
love it.
I don't. At one time, I had as many as 3 karate studios, and right now, I just support my head student, one of my head students. I have 3 head students that still teach, and next week I'm going to his studio to oversee a promotion. So that's what I do. I don't actively teach anymore, but I help my head students with their promotions and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think is what you hope to do as you get older. You hope to move into a different level of what you're doing. You know?
We all change a little bit as we go. As we get a little older, everything changes how we do things, that's for sure.
We were joking this week, me and some buddies, what comes first, the lack of interest or the lack of energy? And we all agreed that it's definitely the lack of energy happens first.
I'm with you. You know, I
I
think I'm agreeing with you on that. As you know, you and I have both we've done like a ton of different things, and I've noticed, and you've got a little bit more years on me, but you've done a lot more stuff. But the thing is, I've noticed of late, it's not I don't know if it's because of some of the previous injuries and various things also adding to fuel to the fire, which I think part of it might be. But I've noticed getting older, just the lack of interest is not as bad as the lack of energy. I would agree with that. I mean, 'cause there's things that's still in the back of my mind you still want to do, and I'm sure you are too. But sometimes it's just like when you've got just your daily routine going on, and by the end of the day, you're just kind of like, geez.
Yeah, I definitely think, though, if you, for some reason, gave us a boost of energy where we not only had energy but felt really good, we'd probably still be ripping it up. But
oh yeah, no doubt.
I think that we do the opposite, where we use the lack of interest as our excuse.
Right.
Where the real reason is we just don't have the energy anymore.
Right.
And
yeah.
Plus, I don't know if you're taking any medication, but they have me on blood pressure medicine, which I think kind of...
that's got to slow you down.
Yeah, I think that slows you down, although it does make you sure you don't pop your head like a like a thermometer on the stove. You know what I mean?
Right. They had me on some stuff too, but I lost quite a bit of weight, as you know. I mean, I don't know if you've seen me lately, but I mean, I was a lot bigger the first time you and I were working together, and I've lost a lot of weight. I mean, I've dropped from 249 to 155, but 249 at a
have you really?
yeah, 249 at 5'8". I mean, you're taller than I am. That can be unless you're just working out every day and that's all muscle, which is very rare for most people. That is just a bad weight for a 5'8" person. I mean, it's just bad weight.
Yeah, I have to admit I stay around the 280, but I'm a little over 6'2".
Yeah,
and
which is
my weight can fluctuate 10 pounds, 15 pounds in a day too.
Right.
Just because that isn't a lot to me.
Right.
But I'd really like to get back down to 240.
Mm-hmm.
But since they replaced my hip, I also can't be as crazy with a bunch of stuff as I used to be.
You can't be the crazy John. See, John's got like the Colonel, the Crazy, the Doctor. He's got multiple titles. Anyway, I think I don't know. Did I lose my co-host because I haven't heard her for a few minutes? Where's my co-host gone? Danielle.
I'm right here. I'm just.
There she is.
Yeah.
So how did she feel about how do you feel, co-host, about your energy and your drive? What do you think is affecting you more?
Energy, definitely.
Energy. See, yeah, and I think if you don't have the energy, you don't have the drive. Then it's a two-sided coin.
Yeah, I can go right. I have the will and the drive. It's just like some days are just better than others. That's all.
You just got to take baby steps. You can still get it done. You just got to baby step it. Before, I think you used to leap it. You know, bounds, leaps and bounds. And now it's baby steps.
Yes. I was interested, before the call, did you mention you were going on to an adventure in South America? Is it the Machu Picchu? Or?
Yes, in October we're going to Machu Picchu. Actually, it has been a trip that's been on hold since COVID. I had paid for the trip, and COVID happened. And then when COVID got better, they had some problems down there with people and also not wanting Machu Picchu getting trampled over as much. And so basically it came down to that we had to use it by December. I was going to lose my money, so.
Oh, wow.
Where is that exactly?
Peru.
Exactly, right? And why are you going there? Because I'm interested. I love history, and I'm all into that stuff, Machu Picchu and all that stuff.
Going to see Machu Picchu. That is the reason. I mean, I want to see that. I've been to the pyramids in Egypt. I was just to the pyramids are not as big as you think. Now, don't get me wrong; they are huge, but they're not as huge as you think. The Sphinx also is not as huge as you think. When you walk into the pyramids, the chambers, the walkways, I mean, I was hunched over to get through the walkways, to get into what you consider the big rooms, and they're not like you see them in TV. They're smaller. TV in the movies, you know, they always make it look bigger. But I'm glad I went to see it, don't get me wrong. And then when we were just down in Belize, we went to see the temples, the temples there, and that was very exciting. My girlfriend has been to the temples and pyramids in Mexico. I have not been to them yet. So now I want to be to go to Machu Picchu also to see the ruins. And I know they did use Machu Picchu for the background of one of the Transformer movies. So that was kind of interesting. I think it was the last Transformer movie. Which surprisingly, the Transformer movies aren't bad. I'm not getting money for them as a backer to say that, but actually you watch them, and they're a lot better than you expect them to be. So I'm going to see the history and to be a part and be there. You know, that's interesting to me. That's stuff.
Awesome.
You know,
now that you've been to the pyramids and stuff, do you think they had more advanced civilization than we do now?
I think they had the, like my one friend says, he says they used the most advanced technology that the world has ever known to make money and get things done. It was called slaves. I believe it was heavily done by slaves. That's what I believe. Just a lot
I
of.
thought that it wasn't done by slaves, but they actually got paid.
I've not heard that, but that would be nice if they did. But knowing history, I would kind of doubt they got paid. I'm just saying, my faith in man is probably strong in the wrong direction. I would see it more as they were probably taken advantage of and forced to do it, is what I think. Just like our country was built on cheap labor and slavery, I think that's been the history of most things with man, and sorry to be negative like that, but they were probably paid and being allowed to stay alive and eat and sleep at night.
So you don't believe that it was done by some advanced technology?
No, I really don't. I mean, I would love to say that the aliens came down and did it, but I don't necessarily believe that.
I don't believe aliens did it. No, that's fine.
But I do believe sometimes people were sharper. If you look at how they built it and how they designed it and the different things, I mean, the guys definitely had an understanding of math and measurements better than we gave them credit for, or we give them credit for presently. Let me look at it, say it that way. So,
John's over here ruining my Stargate.
What did you say?
I said you're ruining my Stargate. I'm just messing with. You're good. Keep going.
I like the show Stargate too, but just if it was built from slaves doesn't mean aliens never visited it, though. You know. So
that's a good point.
I don't believe
I do believe that people had understandings of math and stuff more than we get them credit for. And I do believe they probably didn't just drag it, but use leverage and maybe simple wheels, such as even running it over logs or round reeds or something to make it easier to move them. I believe they did use some technology that we're probably just not sure of what they did. But I think it was still mostly labor. And I look at even in the known world of things that were built, and it's amazing the things that we built just with labor. I mean, even things in, England and France and in Spain, some of the newer countries in Italy, some of the stuff the Romans built and stuff. I mean, some of that stuff, parts of that is still around and it's still phenomenal. And they build it with labor.
Yeah, it's amazing.
To me,
I'm sorry, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, to me, it's like today we have all this technology and stuff. And I think we build a lot of, what's a good word to say? Inferior quality. Is that a good way to put it? With being somewhat nice.
Yeah.
We try to cheap out on things, and it's a pity to me that you can see some of these structures and buildings that were built hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, and they're still around. Even ones we know that were built just by labor, and that's amazing to me.
Go ahead.
We don't build in stone as much anymore.
We don't, but I mean, it's amazing now today. Why couldn't we? Because we don't care to make things last.
Nope.
And I have an engineer friend actually that was with me when I was in Tibet, because I went to Mount Everest, the Tibetan side, to see the temples, and he was telling me how, he was down in Florida, and he always thought you should build a building that'll last through a storm. And Florida has a lot of places where they get hit by storms and buildings get destroyed. And he was actually told by the company that we don't want to put the money into a building to make it last like that. We actually want it to be cost effective. And if it blows down and knocks down, then we just rebuild it again. Or somebody else rebuilds it, and either us or them makes more money off it again.
Wow.
And it's like, okay, what an attitude. But he himself said it was his idea to design it stronger, so it would last.
Right.
But that wasn't what they wanted. They wanted the turnover. And, you know, I can kind of see that because it's perpetual money then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so hey, we're off on a tangent here about building and stuff.
That's fine. Everything's related to things you
I'd
get.
say,
Dude.
I
said everything's related. Everything's related to something you know. So hey, it's all good. What?
Yeah, I've made sure I've been to my travels. I've been to Rome and seen the Colosseum. I've been to Egypt. I have been to.
Well, Danielle has jumped off for some reason. She must have got. Oh, hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
Call retrieved. There's Danielle.
I'm right here.
Okay, she's still there.
Oh, there she is.
Thought we'd lost
So
her.
I've been to Rome. I've been to Rome to see the Colosseum. I've been to Egypt. I've been to Greece. I made sure I saw the old countries, as you call them. You know, and then I've also been to England, France, and Spain, which I kind of call the big